Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. It's Average Joe's Day today here at Guilecast for a custom 2v2v2. That's been a while since we had one of those. Very exciting stuff. And so one of my all-time favourite maps, but we'll get to that in a minute. First of all, massive apologies for the radio silence. Those of you who like the Facebook page will be well aware I've been under the weather. I literally lost my voice. Don't know where it went. Went for a holiday, didn't take me with it. How very rude. It's still a little rough right now. Still pretty sore in the tonsil area. It feels like I've been spending last night entertaining Ron Jeremy to an evening of oral pleasure at my expense. But that's enough of my personal life. But yeah, I'll attempt not to cough and splutter and sneeze my way through this one. I know you'll forgive me, but I really wouldn't have managed to get any casts out earlier than today. It has just been... I suppose I could just stay silent and zoom the camera around. You guys could make your own value judgments. I'm not sure that's worth doing. You could probably just entertain yourself with replays from the vault, but I shouldn't have said that. Maybe that's my entire subscriber base gone as they realise, what am I doing? I could just do that. Anyway, enough of all of that jazz. Let's get on with today's game. As we said, it's going to be a 2v2v2 on the Dark Heart. I'm ready. You guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Cha-ching! Ka-ching! No, it's the loading fail. There we go. It finally boots up. And if you take a quick look at the numbers there for the global ratings, these are not the Joeyest of Joes, nor are they Joes that are nearly pros. These are the proper average Joes. If there was a medal for mediocrity, these guys would almost get into the top three. That's what we're talking about right here. It is the quintessential normies. Let's take a look at our players. This is Team 1 over here at the left. This is Team 2 over here on the right. And down here at the bottom is Team 3. Going first for Team 1. Why don't we actually start the replay? That might help. There we go. Woohoo! Over here on the bottom corner in combat green, we've got Hummel Prince. Like the way I'm saying that's probably Hummel Prince, mate. Hummel Prince. He's going Seraphim, opening first land. His teammate up here on the other side of the island is Red Raven, going Aeon, bless him, in a Ferrari Red, opening first land. Team member number 2 over here, our first UEF of the day. We've got Arbok, and he's going Spetsnaz Green, opening first land, and his other teammate down here to the southeast, another Seraphim. This time it's Gugay, and he's going Serra Mellow Yellow, going first land, second air. And down to Team 3, Burgundy Red on the right, it's Mozambique with a lowercase m. And he is going Serra, opening first land. And last but not least, another UEF. It's, what is that? Black Sky Lane. Interesting. Vivacious Violet going first land and going UEF, if I hadn't already said that. That might be another feature of today's game. Low oxygen to the brain, lots more forgetting stuff than usual. So if I say things 7 or 8 times, feel free to have a go at me in the comments. So yeah, lots of Serra. What is that? 3 Seraphim, 2 UEF, and 1 Aeon, I believe, is the single Aeon there being Red Raven at the top of Team 1, bringing it out for a little bit of variation. But yeah, huge representation for the strong missile-based cruiser factions, the UEF and the Seraphim. Not entirely unsensible decision right there. Get those sub-hunters out for Seraphim, try and dominate those sea lanes, shut those down, and then launch oodles and oodles of cruise missiles from the cruisers sitting in, well, I could say relative safety, away from the land masses of their opponents. So first engineers away from Team 2 and Team 3, going on to that central landmass. First one up here to reach that central landmass is Gugay. And he's going to do a quick recycling option down there. And you see, that's good. You don't have to throw down the reclaim option if you shove down a build queue in the right area. But no, he has actually put down reclaim options. That's exactly what he's done. Picked up unnecessary ones over there. But hey, if you're wondering a quick way to recycle stuff in a condensed area, that's a possible way to do it. Anyway, there he goes. He's going to throw down a land factory. We have got, actually, a little bit of reclaim on the beach right there. that, what's his name, Mozambique has missed. He's going to pick that up, I assume, in just a moment after he's got his land factory sorted. Engineer for Mozambique as well, making way to the bottom right side island. Another engineer, this time for Red Raven, hits a land factory build right up at the North Island at the top of the map. And it's absolutely crucial. These are the key battlegrounds, if you forget, on Dark Heart early doors. The middle, well, not so much. People try and take it, but they don't expect to hold it. These are the anchor points, the choke points. You get hold of these, you can shut down the sea lanes a little bit, but also, importantly, you've got those 3 mexes, which are relatively safe from some level of bombardment. I mean, you will get TAC missiles, you'll get artillery pieces for opposing armies up there on the ridge firing down, but you do have those little hillocks defending those mexes nestled in behind there. A little bit of camera spaz there, apologies for that. And of course you've got the reclaim, which is relatively plentiful. You've got these cruiser, or sorry, Salem wrecks there, destroyer wrecks, just sitting, nestling on the beach there. It's a decent amount of reclaim feeding into the coffers. Let's take a look at who's doing best. Early doors on Eco, 7.7k scooped for Team 3 so far, up to 8k. 7.2 in second place for Team 1, and Team 2 languishing on a woeful 5.7. And they haven't expanded their match. They've gone up to their back island bit there, and we've just seen those 2 engineers trundle across down there for Gugay, and he did actually throw a land factory up in the middle, but we've had no pressure at all from his teammate Arbok on any other island or place like that. Humel Prince has scaled the waters and up onto the beach, thrown down the land factory up onto the little hillock there. This is getting quite crowded on that central island, and this is why typically it doesn't usually go to the mid-game with lots of contentious players vying for that middle island. Not to say it won't this time. You never know. And incidentally, guys, I have labelled this as a normal cast in the promotional series, but just warning now, it will run a little bit longer than usual. I didn't feel it was quite epicosity standards, but it will nonetheless be a long one, so be prepared for that. Did mean to mention that earlier, but didn't manage it. That will be all of the jizz in my head, which is where we're at right now. I need to get off that metaphor, really. Black Sky Lane getting over onto that bottom left side island. Looks like that's his for the taking for the time being. No pressure in from Humel Prince, who seems to be focusing on the central landmass more. In he moves. ACU picking up that very central mechs. And although we saw a couple of early engineers throwing down some factory builds for Gugay on that bottom right island, he's been shooed away by Mozambique, who has pulled his ACU right the way over there and already has a couple of frigates floating around there. Some floaty, naughty there. The Zuis pushing on after forcing Gugay off that bottom right island in over towards Gugay's naval yards, which are up at the back. There's all of the fighting. I can hear it, but I can't see it. It's not up there. Is it over here? It sounds so close. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Is that really what we're talking about? So the sound's still down on my side of things. I might just crank that up a little bit. Excuse the giant thing right in the middle of the cast. There you go. Oh, no. Definitely don't do that. See why I don't play this game. I would end up going Cybern all the time with my misclicking capabilities. Humel Prince scales the hillock on the bottom right corner of that central landmass and starts blapping away at that land factory. Still producing units, although blatantly not going to be able to hold that. That's just wasted resources at this point. Left drone in production there for Arbok, who not quite so developed in terms of general sprawl compared to other players on the field. Frigate there for Mozambique, just dodging some of the Zui fire, sailing around those artillery pieces and popping those at his leisure. He's a sub now in there though, so that's a problem for him. Won't be able to hit back at those. And meanwhile, over in the west, Team 3 managed to take down one of Humel's naval yards with a couple of Tiger Shark subs there. Going to start work on the second one, which is 63% done on a frigate. Might be able to squeeze that out before it goes down. Well, maybe not. It's not going very quickly. T2 upgrade, 40% done there for Gugay. T2 now on the way for Arbok, who completed... He have left drone, he did left drone, then right drone. So he's got both of the engineering drones on the comm, and he's 50% done on the way to T2 as well. So it's a decent amount of concentrated build power. But he stayed in there, he's focusing on building up in his main base, and as a result has completely yielded all expansion possibilities. Nothing on the central landmass, which is now completely in Team 1's hands, actually. And if that doesn't get contended soon, that could be a massive win early game for Team 1. Although they are down at the moment. 55, 58 current income in mass there for Team 1. Team 2 on 94. They are chip leaders at the moment, and Team 3 on 81. That's generated eco. Taking a look at reclaims, Team 2 are way behind on 6.3. The other two pretty close, Team 1 and Team 3. Sorry, Team 2 way behind if I hadn't said that. Team 1 and Team 3 pretty close. 9.8 to 9.2. There, the differential. So both have scooped similar amounts. Of course, it all depends on where the battles happen and where the mass fields lie. Black Sky Lane evicting his opponent there with his ACU before it can finish a land factory. And he says, you know what, I'm not going to take that down, I'm just going to build a plasma cannon, let that do it for me. T1 PD going up there for him, and that will afford him a little bit of extra security as well. You've got to like Team 1 where they're situated at the moment, though. Yes, they didn't manage to get the bottom left-hand corner, but they've got the top one uncontested and the whole of the middle island for the time being. Of course, once the navies start to build up, that will be next to impossible, I'm sure, to hold on to. Floaty, floaty, naughty, naughty in the form of Riptides now, coming from Arbok. This is his first major venture out of the base area. He went straight to T2 land, and it looked like he was going to go for a bit of pressure on North Island, but then said, maybe not. Actually, no, maybe. He turn around again. Certainly a very indecisive commander leading this little platoon. Is it a platoon? Is it a flotilla? Who can tell? Well, there he goes again. Doesn't like the look of that. So no action up on North Island as yet. Still more Riptides joining the pack there. So maybe he's just waiting for a little bit more firepower. And looky, looky, what have we got here? Red Raven out of his box like a madman, rolling forward with his comm, and he's going to throw down a T1 torpedo launcher there. Black Skyling doesn't like the look of that, comes in to try and engage it, but you know what? Sue Whistles and the other torpedo launcher up here say, not so much, my friend. I don't like the look of that. So that Riptide actually pulled away from North Island to afford a bit of protection to his teammate, but he really didn't need it. I'm wondering if that's a missed opportunity there. We do have a PD more or less right on the shoreline. That's going to be a little bit tricky to contend with the Riptides, but if you get enough of them, get the right engage. There's a lot of engineers in there ready for a good kicking. Do have some Auroras in the center, but Riptides should carve them up nicely. But he hasn't gone North Island. Instead, strolling into the middle. That region we said is particularly hard to hold. Going straight after the Auroras. There's going to be a lot of engineers carved up in that one. Doesn't want to hang about. We do have fervors there lobbing artillery shells. Wants to keep on the move and avoid that incoming artillery fire, which he is doing to a certain extent. One land factory down. There goes another. This is a lovely little T2 rush here into the centre. Team 1 who have overtaken Team 2 in terms of generated eco. Now losing a lot of resourcing options. That's 4 mexes down. Another 6 potentially could get taken out, but it looks actually like he's withdrawing rather than pushing to the extremities. Takes a bomb to that lead tank from one of Humel's T1 bombers. And look at that cheeky little... It's not so much a run by, it's a run in straight through the front door. 4 Auroras. And look at all of the dead engineers there for Black Sky. And now his power grid's under attack. He's lost 3 T1 P-Gens. What's it doing to his eco? Well, he's power locked already. Desperately needs some assistance from his teammate. God, how did they leave that one open? Front door wide open. Pumps out 1 Mongoose, and that does the trick. But yeah, that would have slowed up his progression somewhat. Still in control of that southwesterly side island though, so things not looking too terrible. And after that push into the central landmass, Arbok withdrew, and now I would imagine Hummel likely to re-expand and pick up those 4 mexes again. He's still in control of the rest of the island, and now he's got a pretty solid looking T1 fleet hovering around Arbok's base up here. This is where he gets his own back. He can, if he can work out how to get his boats to find a firing solution on something. Very menacing flock of terns nesting in those caves on the shoreline there. Seraphim can't stand terns, as we know. Very susceptible to turn strand of bird flu. So just making sure they're dealing with all potential threats here. Arbok unleashes his Riptides once again, going straight after the incoming Auroras. They get taken down in virtually no time at all before switching up onto those frigates. Getting some assistance from a destroyer over here from his teammate. Gugay helping to push that back, and actually very little was accomplished, if anything, from that engagement. We've got 1 Aurora that sneaked in the front door from Red Raven, tickling away at that T2 mass pump. But the Riptides en route to deal with that, as well as a relative horde of Zuis. And now we're starting to see those Serra cruisers out onto the field. He just has to park that in range of Gugay's base, and Gugay's now going to have to spend the next 15 minutes building tactical missile defense. He's going to really enjoy that. Well, looks like he's concerned with that central island, which is fair enough, I suppose. When you look at it, you would imagine Team 1 be running away with it a little bit, but remember, on actual eco, yes, they've got the land, yes, they haven't developed the land yet. They need to invest in their infrastructure and tech up those mass extractors. They're still short stacking on eco. They're middle of the road on total eco gain, 4k ahead of Team 2. Well behind Team 3 though, thanks to all the reclaim they've scooped, who are up on 78k so far. Both of their team members have a side island as well. And now that cruiser reacquires a new target, and it's Gugay's main base. Gugay with a couple of TMDs in place already, working on another shield gen for a little bit of extra defensive redundancy. The Zuis merge, but Mozambique horribly outnumbered. Plus, of course, we've got that destroyer there. And now he's got a cruiser of his own. He'd be bringing that into fire straight back at Mozambique's. Certainly where I would go with it. Might get a few missiles in there before he notices it's under attack if he's lucky. T2 upgrade on the way for Red Raven, who's nestled himself right up next to his teammate. Got a buffer against Arbok, who, apart from those riptides, of course, when he engaged the Central Island, doesn't look that dangerous. He's made no pressurizing attempt on North Island at all, so I guess maybe the play is for Red Raven to move down to this portion of his teammate's island and help support him either on a push against Black Sky's side island or indeed the main base. Choice is up to him. But that's all conjecture at this point. I do watch these replays through, but largely on +10 while I'm picking my nose. Not paying serious amount of attention to it, just making sure it looks like a reasonably entertaining game. People get very upset, say, Guile, you miss so much, why don't you watch it through intently the first time? Well, sometimes I do, but... And it's not a surprise for me. I like the surprise factor to a certain extent, so I watch just enough to make sure it looks interesting. Oh, lovely little connection on a cruise missile there on a moving Zui pack. Picks off 2 of those. Some Tiger Sharks scoot through from Black Sky Lane. Might as well bring those... well, actually, no, there are destroyers up there now, of course. Doesn't want to throw those away. Equally, of course, you've got... torpedo launchers in the water there belonging to Red Raven, and that was either an artillery emplacement. So we've got T2 static going up on the ridge for Hummel. Takes out 1 mech and now raining fire down on that land factory at the bottom. That's on 1500 HP of 4K. Now we've got 2 cruisers in the mix there for Mozambique. Still lots of TMD. Going to need a lot more than that. One artillery piece up for Gugay. A second one planned right next to it. Unfortunately, not leaving space for adjacency bonus T1 P-gens that really do make an enormous amount of difference to their power usage and the rate of fire if you're a newbie. Well worth flanking your T2 artillery pieces with T1 P-gens, much in the way you would with mass storage around a mech. Makes a world of difference. Mel loses another one of those corner mexes. It's actually starting to upgrade the odd one here and there, though. Central mechs and the one to its top left of that group of 4 upgraded to T2. So he is making some investment in the center. Hasn't got a corner island to call his own, so you can understand the motivation. And for the time being, Team 3 seems firmly absorbed in its conflict with Team 2. Black Sky doing little, if anything, other than absorbing artillery fire and being generally pretty good-mannered about it. Transport hovering in the background there. Another inbound. Take cover! 2 P-gens down and out. That T2 upgrade has been going for quite a while. 73% done. Red Raven short stacking on eco. That's why a pretty pitiful 34 mass per tick. And that is not a power-locked mass reading. That's his total output right now, considering he has an island. And he gets both mexes on the back island. He hasn't given one to his teammate. And he's trying to upgrade those as we speak. Definitely didn't do that in the right order. Trying to do too much at the same time on too little. But a cheeky little drop in. This could be the move that makes that bottom left island change hands. It's 4 Ilshivers. They kill the units at the LZ that were lying in wait for laying into the T1 PGens. Black Sky is going to respond. He's got 3 destroyers down here. But all in all, looks a little bit outgunned. Plus, he's taking T2 PD fire from the mainland in the center. Wants to get out of range of that if he's going to hold back this naval pressure that's coming his way. Pretty sure, if memory serves, you can't really reach... Yeah, you can't reach each other's island. Just if you place it on the corner, it literally just drops short there. So artillery pieces can't fire base to base, but they can comprehensively cover these side islands. Attack missiles, of course, a different story. They've got a longer range. And one mech is all... Sorry, it's a plasma cannon. That's all that remains of Black Sky's presence over there. Lots of T3 engineers just kind of drifting up here on a reclaim mission. Mozambique loses one over here. Presumably to... I don't know what. Maybe that was the Zui up here. Maybe it was a reclaim order from those engineers. Who can say? But there was definitely one there a minute ago. Lots of floaty, naughty accumulating at the bottom right-hand corner for Mozambique. Totals gradually climbing. Red Raven, though, still on 14. He's one of the bottom-rated players, although it's actually very close. So Team 2 have 2,000 rated players, but otherwise it's an 1,000 and a 900 for the other two. Not a lot in it. Game quality says 83%. I think that's it struggling to cope with the 2v2v2 format, the 3-team format. Doesn't seem right to me. Could have that wrong, of course. It wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be the last. Oh, cheeky artillery pieces paying for themselves in spades now. Gugay sneaking a couple of shots in through those two mountainous formations. Over to the northeast, that naval battle going strong. Pretty even looking forces, a bit more floaty, naughty from Mozambique potentially. And actually that has done the trick as all of the destroyers die in a fire and then sink to a watery grave. We've still got 2 destroyers operational and a cruiser down here for Mozambique. Riptides from Arbok brought in. They focus down the weak destroyer. That other one needs to get out of dodge as a second destroyer there from Gugay goes online. And that will be the end of that little bit of pressure. Back over to the west. We've had some engagement. Nice pick off at range. Oh, excuse that. Don't even know what that is. Yeah, that's stupid Facebook notifications or something like that, so we can close that. It's just what you don't want in the middle of a cast. Is that me, or was that really loud as well? Just the way my headphones are set up. And he doesn't doesn't take it for himself either, having cleared that bottom left. I mean, I suppose he's got the middle island still, but having cleared that, he gives the bottom left island to his teammate, who historically hasn't been doing anything with mass either. He's still on 41, so that's very nice of Hummel. But he's given up the side island, he's given up his back mechs up here, and Red Raven just not managing to do anything with it. He did finish that upgrade to T2 on that mechs. Still trying to work on getting all of his core mechs up to T2. Excuse me. 26 minutes in. Did say it's a long one, so we've got a ways to go here. Hopefully I don't pass out through lack of oxygen halfway through it. You do hear a thud to the keyboard, followed by no more talking. Feel free to call an ambulance. It'll get here a little bit late, especially since it would take my wife to come up, find me, upload the cast for you to do that, and then not ring for the hospital to send an ambulance herself. Just accuse me of having man flu, wouldn't they? That's what ladies love to do. I did read an article the other day that said that man flu was a legitimate thing. If there are any ladies watching, it totally is. Something to do with testosterone causing weaker immune systems. So instead of giving us a hard time, you need to ask us if we need anything. Honey and lemon, tea, sandwich. Suddenly it all goes rather quiet. Not a lot of pressure coming from any angle at this point. Everybody trying to build up their eco. We do have a cheeky little T3 drop though from Black Sky as he fights to try and reclaim this bottom left-hand corner. That's a combination of Mongoose, Titans, and one Percy. And retreating, Ilsheva needs one more Percy shot and he's gone. 168 hit points left. Strolls out of range before the Percy takes him out. Engineers over here throwing down an Eruptor. What, if anything, can Team 1 do about this counter incursion? If he keeps those units away from the coast, not a great deal. There are, of course, the artillery emplacements on the cliff, which will be lobbing shells his way. Massive battery of tactical missile defense there, built to keep out any inbound TAC missiles. I don't know if that's based on any scouting or whether he's just fearful. Don't see any TAC missile launchers within immediate range. Arbok getting Ras, and look at that, assisted by the kennel drones. And now he's building more of them. He's in full UEF Joe turtle mode. Get the shields, get the kennels, get the build capacity, get the eco. Where is he sitting? He's chip leader on eco, Arbok, 161, and that's a country mile ahead of everybody else. So he's playing the long game. Clearly knows what he's doing. Happy to sit and turtle. Get a Ravager as well. That's going to make storming this little citadel tricky. So place your bets in the comment section now, ladies and gentlemen. The time is 30 minutes exactly game time. Let's have your predictions of who's going to win this one, and you've got to timestamp it. Who do you think is going to win which team? I want to know, because right now it's anybody's. Put in who you think's going to win and a brief reason as to why, and timestamp it. This is going to provide some interesting after recording viewing for later on. And no cheating. I don't want any deleting of comments. You have to partake in this game in good faith. People are going to be deleting their comments, putting new ones up going, I haven't watched it to the end, but Team 1's going to win. And there it is. Our first battleship of the day. A Summit out from Black Sky. Going to utilize its colossal range if it can find a target it actually wants to shoot at. As it adjusts. Like World of Warships. Kaboom! Got to try not to do that too much so the voice won't stand up to it. Black Sky doesn't actually have any TMD, so he's vulnerable to a pile-up of Seraphim cruisers in here. He needs to use that Summit to keep those at bay. Have one Infinity-class destroyer as well from Red Raven, who's still on like half the mass of everybody else, on 63. Desperately needs to work on getting his eco up. And he's got hugely costly expenditures like this TAC missile battery here, which is going to be sapping a huge quantity of his resources. Yes, could potentially do some major damage against Arbok, who's got no TMD up here to speak of at all. But check it out, Fatty half done in Arbok's base. That could have some entertaining results. Meanwhile, in the southeast island, missiles still flowing in down there from Gugay. Gugay is actually Sanskrit for good guy, if you didn't know. That's why he picks that happy, friendly yellow colour. Land-based TAC missiles falling way short. Illustrating there's some decent micro going on from Gugay, keeping his guys moving. That Summit has taken a bit of damage, down to 39k from 51. And there's the Fat Boy completed over on Team 2's island. Team 2, who incidentally are way clear on mass. 326 versus 256 versus 157, which is a pretty woeful showing from Team 1. Having said that, a little bit of a breakthrough from Humel, trying to bust this fleet up here and get to that Summit. The Summit's taken some damage, but destroyers holding firm. This is where you want to ravage a turret. Shielded right here on the cliff edge. Another Summit completed in the main base. Did it just wipe out? I think it did. It took out its own mechs. Don't really want to be firing from there, love. Whew. Overshoots Red Raven's cruiser. All the UEF destroyers are down and out, though. Just that Summit blockading the strait. And they're going to lock onto that. Getting assistance from the rearguard Summit, though, and the one after that is nearly complete. Well, I say that, nearly half complete as well in a very short space of time. So Black Sky just piling everything in on that. But check this out. I'll just park my artillery-based experimental on the cliff edge and rain all hell down upon you. That forward position there of Red Raven just annihilated. Check out all the structures no longer present. What's the range on that Fat Boy? It'd be good if I clicked the right player, wouldn't it? Take out that emplacement, but then that's about it. Back down to the sea battle down here. And that lead summit goes down. I'm not a favoritizing sort of person. I'm not rooting for Black Sky or anything like that, but I just shudder every time one of those majestic beasts sinks below the waves. Artillery turrets trying to acquire. There it is. Oh, a little bit of cheeky micro there. It's not going to avoid that. Down it goes. One very badly damaged destroyer remaining. A torpedo boat sails past that, takes it down to 500. Oh my god, kill the destroyer. Engineers being airlifted in from Red Raven to scoop some of this mass. That's a seriously valuable reclaim field at the bottom of the straits there. And now mass Zui incursion inbound from Gugay. And the horde of Zuis that used to exist here for Mozambique seem to have been taken out, probably by all of these TAC missiles raining in from those cruisers. We do have a decent amount of destroyers over here for Mozambique, but he seems reluctant to sail round and engage this inbound horde of land spam, instead sending his own Zuis out to meet them from his main base. Not moving earlier with his fleet will cost him what he's got in the center potentially. But it's a trade-off he's been willing to make. He's kept his fleet alive. And look at that cheeky little T2 naval yard up in the top right-hand corner belonging to Red Raven, spitting out those T2 Vespers, the submarine hunters. And what's going on here? Having completed the Fat Boy, which is gone. Where is it gone? Missing Fat. How do you lose a Fat Boy? Only Guile could lose a Fat Boy. It's around here somewhere. No, it's still there. It's literally 5 feet from where it was before. Still engaging at nothing. That must be ground fire. Maybe he killed something. But having completed that, before I lose my train of thought, has started a strategic missile launcher. That's about a quarter done, and now he's about 60% through a Novak center as well. So it seems like Arbok going full standoff. He's not produced a single naval yard that I've seen, and he's going full turtle and standoff tactics in this fight. Happy to go experimental satellite system, nuke launcher, and defensive Fat Boy. Vulthu's brought in from Mozambique. They do force back the tide of Zuis. Gugay still has a lot of operational artillery pieces though back here, and a very serious amount of cruisers which are just lobbing all the flak in the world at those gunships. So much anti-air fire. Down goes the Vulthu. 4 or 5 of them remain over here trying to stay out of range of those cruisers, but it certainly isn't easy. But operation complete, or at least phase 1 complete for Gugay. He's killed all of the resourcing options, and there's only one land factory left for Mozambique. Phase 2 presumably to grab and hold for himself, and here come the engineers to do just that. 3 land factories queued up on the beach. T3 done nearly for Mozambique, 89% complete there on the com, climbing steadily. And there's the Ravager we were talking about earlier. That's crucial. A few more of those and that is straight lockdown. So much range on that puppy. Look at that. Coverage almost closes that off. You get another one up there, and it does. 3 or 4. And that becomes very difficult. You have to get battleships out. You've got to take them down with overwhelming ranged firepower. Bullthus still doing what they can, but they can't get much closer than that because of all of the cruiser-based flak trying to pick off Yenzines and Zuis as and when they can, but really it's just throwing good money after bad at this point. What are we doing on the battleship front? So we've got we've got 1 summit, and then he went battle cruiser for the other 2 after that. A couple more summits and you'd be able to take out this position quite comfortably, knock down these T2 statics and attack missile batteries. Got to keep moving though. Don't want to get counter hit by these 3 attack missile launchers. Second shield on the way for Hummel. Red Raven still not in triple figures on the eco. Come on, my friend. You can do it. Just pumping out the Vespers all the same, though. That's going to get to a critical mass of submarines. It's going to cause all kinds of problems for Team 2. You would imagine he would unleash it against Gugay. And then that's going to change the balance of power down here in the southeast pretty dramatically, assuming that Red Raven doesn't leave it too long to attack. It could be a fair old while before he does. And look at that. Operational Novaks looking for targets of opportunity. Personally, I'd be over here mopping all this up to expand, but that's not in his remit really, is it? Arbok's happy to sit in his base in this game and just wants to hit out. I sympathize, I do. It's an enjoyable way to play the game, certainly. Not always the most productive, however. Novaks opens up on that summit. Personally, much prefer to go after vulnerable mexes, especially when battleships seem to be heading in the opposite direction against your other opponents. There we have it. Hummel finally losing resourcing options, and valuable resourcing options as well. T2 mexes in the middle going pop, and he's down to 53. So Team 1, oh well, he is power locked, so that has something to do with it. How will the arrival of these battleships change the dynamic down here? Could have done with a couple more bulwark boats for extra shield coverage. And interestingly, Mozambique's not piling on and engaging directly with his fleet. He's sailed up the channel and is firing some pot shots at the main base. He's sailing back now, presumably once that fat boy named Primordial Destroyer. There's nothing primordial about a fat boy. That's an incredibly complicated piece of machinery. And that nuke launcher complete, and the first nuke is very nearly done. Where is it gonna fire, I wonder? Gunships flying overhead, taking flak. A few of them plummet into the water. Zui's up close, or the Yenzines. The Yenzines up close, getting free ride on these battle cruisers. That's a poor showing there as it sails straight into danger. The lead Neptune trying to get in here and maybe take down a few cruisers, but I think this was a mistake. He's absolutely outnumbered, overwhelmed. The Zui's opened up. That's just free damage. Oh no, that was not a great decision. Just when another shield boat shows up too late. And there's the first nuke. Where's it going? It's going over here. It's going to Hummel's comm. Hummel's moving his commander. Has he got SMD? Doesn't look like it. His teammate's not going to have it either because he's basically still on T1. Has he put enough distance between himself and the drop zone? Ground zero. No, he doesn't. Oh, man. Hummel is out. The first player ejected at 44 minutes by a nuke to the face. That took everybody by surprise, I think, on Team 1's side of things, because they haven't done a lot of scouting. There hasn't been a lot of scouting generally, but that's to be expected at an average Joe's game, or an average Joe's game. Things have not gone brilliantly down here for Team 3 either. Team 2 now looking positively deadly with that eco, with the standoff capabilities of Arbok, who is already 55% done on the next nuke. He's got all his rover drones on it. Is he going to nuke everybody else into oblivion? You can bet there's not going to be SMD popping up on here anytime soon, but then at the same time, are they really a threat? Would you want to be rather focusing all of your efforts on Team 3 at the bottom? That's who are providing the fight for the time being. That's where Arbok's got his satellite. Trouble is, trying to break through triple Seraphim shielding like that is tricky at the best of times. And I bet they've got SMD. They do indeed. It's over here. It's taken some damage. So these shields have popped up probably relatively recently, and that's damage that will have been inflicted by that satellite. Indeed, that might be what he's still going after now. He might have switched up onto the shield gem, but it's in that locale. Attack pings going down on that summit. Cruise missiles raining down on it from all those cruisers. Bit of micro wouldn't go amiss here, but Black Skies, attention's elsewhere, and there it goes. Maybe it's because he had run into that cliff edge. Admiral Bender run his ship aground. It's one less cruiser at least. There goes another one. So this next summit, or these next two summits, are getting some work done. They really are, actually. It's literally one shot, one kill. Until I mention it. That next one should take out that destroyer. But now we finally have the first Seraphim battleship of the game coming out from Team 2. That's going to liven things up somewhat down here. Mozambique getting the engineers out there to scoop that mass. Total so far 631 there for Team 2, 560 for Team 3, and 341 for Team 1. That's going to diminish even more. Yes, he's got the base to scoop. Looks like he's done a bunch of it already. It's going to take him a while to get set up, and Red Raven has not shown that he is particularly focused on quick, efficient tech or eco upscaling. Satellite drifts away to find a more vulnerable target. Decided he wasn't going to break through those shields and pick off that SMD, so try something else. Where is that nuke going? The next one is out. Is that going over here? That would be a pretty easy kill right now. Routed to the spot underwater at 17% on a T3 upgrade. But no, it's heading south over towards Mozambique. Is it going to be in range of that SMD? Yes, it is. There's only one missile loaded in that. Might want to get some more engineers to help build those anti-nukes, because it's 50% done on the next one already. And look at this chicken. It's strolled across the southeastern island there from Gugay. heading into that bottom channel, and that's going to make it onto land. I had no doubt there. There's no torpedo-based naval vessels currently in range. Of course, one turns up, one Cooper. But that is at pretty much full health. Ithota strolling forward. We have Vulthus lying in wait, ready to engage. How are we doing on ye old point defense? That's the question. He's nearly got the next anti-nuke done, but that will be the main target of priority, I'm sure. Oh, interesting. So, shallow waters allowed the Ithota's head just to pop up. That was enough to sneak a couple of long-range artillery shells in from the battleships further to the north, and he's already down as a result to 30-odd%. We've got support commanders, advanced combatant preset lying in wait. He is going after the SMD. Oh my god, kill it. He has killed it. Are there any more SMDs lying down there? I don't know. We've got some SMDs, or a SMD over here with 2 anti-nukes. So if he wants to sneak a missile in, he probably wants to do it on this end of the island. But importantly as well, combination of that attack and the Iron Storm took down the shield gen. And we've got, or we had, what's going on over here? So there's been some engagement. The Novaks took some damage. Where's the actual satellite gone, though? It was firing down. Missed some action down here. It obviously wasn't the submarines. They're not going to be firing above ground. But there's the next nuke. Surely going south after Mozambique. Looks like it's drifting further left than I'd like it to. I'd like it to connect up here. Don't want to stray into the defensive range of Blacks, and he has! Oh, God! Kids, that's why you scout. That is why you scout. Literally, where was that shot down? That was shot down there? It was just inside the range. All he had to do was plonk it. Even if he plonked it there, you're going to get most of that. Oh, what a horrible error. After everything, that mass delivery chicken lying on the ground there from Gugai. He'd done his job. He'd done his job, as Belichick would say. And it was Arbok there that dropped the ball with the nuke placement. You know what? That's why we watch these Joe's games. We're not here for perfect play. We want to see these little errors that the average guys make here and there. Makes the game interesting in its own way. Vesper's still getting some work done, dwindling a little bit in number as a huge horde of engineers hurry to build more torpedo launchers. They're going to reposition further to the north. They've taken down the T3 naval yard, so no more advanced vessels, and that gives a huge reprieve now to Mozambique. And Team 3 in general have just come out quids in on that latest encounter, latest few encounters. The naval pressure has dropped off massively thanks to the Vesper pressure from Red Raven. The nuke missed, which I still can't believe. Satellite is back. I don't know where that went. It was probably right here and I just couldn't see it. I am the king of tunnel vision. People often ask, why don't you play this game more, Guile? Well, essentially that's the reason. I have horrendous tunnel vision. It's an aspect of all of my dealings in life. I will happily, or not happily, but I will consistently spend half an hour looking for the car keys and check a surface 5 times before the missus walks in and says, "It's there, you frickin' donut." I'm not sure who it's more irritating for, me living with it or the wife living with me. Generally not great for either. does affect my gaming capabilities somewhat. That's why I'm most in awe of people who can play solo games, ladder, and they can be solely responsible for putting out fires all over the map. Just too taxing. Shield collapsed in the main base for Gugay, but then the next one pops up in the nick of time before the next volley can land. I'd love to know what got that. Answers on a postcard, guys. You saw what that was. Was it a bomber or something from Red Raven? Took out loads of stuff. This was all energy storage, so all volatile. That, I suspect, was rebuilt. I think that was a double wreckage. We've got more energy storage now that won't pop. This is a risky layout right here. Lots of volatile energy storage around volatile T3 reactors. So one goes, they can all go. So the next nuke is nearly done. Do we have anti-nuke back up and running down here? Yes, we do. Not yet loaded, though. He's got a lot of build capacity on it. We've got rover drones working on it as well from Black Sky. Will he get a missile loaded in time? Because another one is done here. Another nuke ready to launch. The silo doors open, and there goes the ICBM. I do love the UEF nukes. Literally, everything else about this civilization is so advanced. But they're still using Soviet and American nukes from the Cold War. It's just awesome. I know that's what they're based on. Again, it's drifting too far to the left. What are you doing? Oh my god, and that pretty much wasn't loaded as well. That wasn't loaded. He might just, if he'd have landed it up here, he might have got that in for a second time. I'm going to call that 2 missed nukes. Arbok, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's going to watch this back or not, because he probably doesn't follow me. But if he did, if you know Arbok and he doesn't watch these casts, guys, message him and say, what were you doing? In a nice, friendly, non-harassing, non-lawsuit kind of a way. Oh, shield collapses. How long till the next one blinks on? He's trying to build it. That explosion from that T3 reactor, if it went up, would possibly take the SMD with it, but I don't think there's any nukes building anywhere else, so I don't have that to worry about. Chicken takes down that Neptune, though, and the other summits are forced to move, so they don't get that next shot in. Crucial timing for Gugay. Lovely engage from the cliff edge there with that Ithota. Distracts them just long enough to get the base defenses up once more. Shift in build production over to some torpedo bombers. Have they even spotted that little... They have spotted it. And he's just built a cruiser. He's missed a clean opportunity there to take that out. Had so many torpedo bombers, and there's no air force to speak of pretty much anywhere, actually, with the exception of Mozambique, who's got lots of ASFs covering his base right now, covering his fleet. But otherwise, everyone's seeming pretty reluctant to get involved in the air game. All we've really seen is the gunships from Mozambique trying to defend here, which is extraordinary, actually. No one's managed to get set up here once again. No one's even bothered to try, and no one's bothered to try on the central landmass. That is a little bit more common, being as it's right in the middle of the battlefield. 56 minutes gone as we approach 1 hour. Let's take a look back at where we are on Team Ecos. So Red Raven solely responsible now for Team 1, putting out 273. And that is actually single player chip leader. Of course, he's on 2 base and 2 island as well. If you look at it in combination, he's well behind the other teams. Team 3's on 393, very nearly at 400 mark, and 451 there for Team 2. There goes the next nuke out from Arbok. Is he still going to be firing at Mozambique, trying to flog that dead horse? Yes, he has. And And that is just not going to get through. There's a new anti-nuke loaded in that silo, and that would still be under coverage over here. That gets promptly shot down. So, no joy there. Just to think all the damage he could have done against Red Raven up here. Not that that's a huge threat right now. Would have done better to send one of those anti-nukes just to take that out. Because that's slowly building up, bit by bit by bit. Could have another problem again soon, like that little Vesper raid. His teammate is still not up to T3 tech on his naval facilities. T2 operational HQ in the channel there. So, just from that last raid, things still looking a little bit peaky for him. But look at the sub-hunters from Mozambique. And he's on 211. If he gets them in now, that could be the end of that battleship. He's already half cooked as it is. It won't take long for those vicious torpedoes to chew through that Seraphim battleship. Look at that. So much damage. He says, oh my god, we're under attack. Yep, it's too late. These destroyers won't stand a chance. And this is dangerous now for Team 2. Got all of the Rambo preset. Do they not call it Rambo preset now? It's Advanced Combatant preset. Is that what it is, or is that a separate thing altogether? It certainly sounds more official than Rambo. That is a change. I approve of it. Well done, devs. Back over to the sub-hunters, which are still wading into dangerous waters over here. There are a lot of T1 torpedo launchers, though, and there are more being constructed all the time. And he's lost a lot of sub-hunters, which are nowhere near as powerful as they used to be. That's a massive Seraphim nerf that's happened over the years. But I am going back, of course, way back to original core GPG days, when they were just imber as hell. They were ridiculous. You get that kind of number of sub-hunters together, and that's it. You're done. Another chicken completed, I'm assuming. Yep, up there for Gugay. And that vicious looking artillery battery just starting to take some damage now as the shield gens struggle to keep up with the summit fire. A Tsar under construction back here for Red Raven. Doesn't want to be sending that anywhere near Team 3 and Mozambique's horde of ASFs. Defending with strap bombs, why not? A lot of flak coming this way with this horde of Yenzines.
Strategic launch detected.
Gugay sending them out to try and hold Mozambique back while he gets re-established. And this time, Arbok going after Red Raven's comm. He's not going to make the same mistake his teammate did. Looks like he's managed to get his comm out of the blast zone. I see. Yeah. So that satellite's been working on him for a while, but hasn't managed to get through, so that's how he knew where the comm was. Shield gen's now gone, so he can't hide under that anytime soon. Has got a whole horde of asylums coming to protect that commander now. That's 50% done. Faster than I would think, Red Raven, but remember, he's almost up to 300 by himself, so that is right up there. Gugay ahead of him, though, 296. Really do with a couple more of those summits. Just start chewing into this main base. Trying to hit back with these artillery placements all you can, but they're so expensive to they have the range as well? I'm certain they do. Just on the edge of the range there. Whereas you look at the extra range of those two summits, they've got a little bit more range. So I didn't actually realise that. I thought they were comparable. I mean, they're nearly comparable, but certainly with the summits at least, they might be all battleships, but they can just outrange the T2 artillery emplacements, which is good. I think that's the way it should be. Force people to get out and try and take out the battleships rather than just rely on trading artillery blows with the static. How far done on that Tsar? Very nearly. What's he gonna do with it? Anything interesting? Ping's going down on Arbok's commander. Just working on expanding his eco. He's got a second fat boy. Just think though, if he'd have gone more aggressive, what he could have achieved. Should really be sitting on all of this now. The way Red Raven has been playing, he's been so sedentary. And for most of it, down on eco as well. Apologies if I've been quiet, by the way. I didn't realise my mic was quite so far away from me. Hopefully that won't affect the sound too much. I realise my voice is somewhat quieter than usual.
Strategic launch detected.
Only half of it working. So the next nuke out, where's it going? Looks like it's going left again. Yes, it is. Going after the main base of Red Raven. There's an SND up, but it's only recently been completed. There's no missile loaded. And that's going to be a painful loss. Nuked. That's Tsar in the background. Thing of beauty. I love the shockwave on the UEF nuke. Just awesome. And what's that done? Red Raven down to 188. That's really hurt him. Support commanders on the move over to Team 2 from the bottom. Mozambique with lots of summits now moving up. Needs to finish off that battery though before he gets too involved. Tsar inbound, starts taking fire from the Flak and Sams in Arbok's base. Remember, they're not particularly strong. They can do some damage when they fall. Is he going after the nuke launcher? No, he's going after Arbok's comm. I think that's a mistake. He gets killed on the drift. He's going to miss Arbok's comm. He's going to miss everything and hand a very handy delivery of mass right on Arbok's tasty doorstep. However, potential trouble here. Sub-hunters moving up the channel with support commanders and a chicken lying in wait, just waiting to come up under, out of that shield coverage, under it, straight into that fat boy and start working on it. Another Tsar under construction up at the back. 1 hour 4 minutes gone into this. We do get the feeling that things are starting to move finally. Black Sky completes an experimental. What is it and where is it? It's that Atlantis down there. We're finally going to see him dipping his toe into the Air Force side of things. In fact, where are the ASFs? They're back here, they're landed, they're not getting involved, while Gugay flying overhead with all these torpedo bombers. There we finally get some ASFs dispatched to deal with them. But there goes the chicken, one fat boy down. They're chasing Arbok with the support commanders. Arbok's overcharging as he goes. He's got Ravagers back here. Leads support commander down. Overcharge takes off 50% of the health on the other one. Defending chicken back here as well. Two of them, in fact. But both of the fat boys have been destroyed. That's a major defensive range disadvantage now for Arbok. So some damage done. Two dead experimentals, defensively used experimentals. The Vespers brought in once again, but there's so many torpedo launchers. Just look at them. They don't last any time at all. The next nuke out, it's going over here. It's looking for Red Raven's comm. The shields won't protect him. All he can do is try and put some distance between him and the nuke, but he's that much closer to it now. He's got less time to withdraw. Will it bag the kill? Boom, baby! Yes, it will. Red Raven throws out the GG as he goes down. And then there were just two teams. I didn't think that Team 1 would be the first to fall when the game first started, with aggressively taking essentially both corner islands and that central landmass. Will Arbok finally move out to expand up there? Well, he might not get a chance. Support commander's already moving in that direction for Mozambique. They want to hem Team 2 in if they can. What was that? That sounded big. It was a support commander over here. Atlantis fully submerged, used offensively, going after those destroyers who are also taking fire from these sub-hunters up here. Chickens on the move though, 3 of them moving out for Gugay. Where are these support commanders heading? No, they're actually coming around potentially to engage from the other side. Interesting. A Mavor, that might be a little bit optimistic. That really is full defensive mode. I feel like, yes, he's taken out the 2 players over here, but he's messed up 2 or 3 nukes down here. Could have had Mozambique. It would have just been interesting to see what Arbok could have done if he'd built a navy and started producing, because they could have run over everything down here. Atlantis still pretty healthy on 37,000 hit points. Still forcing those destroyers back. Another Atlantis out as well. That needs to submerge, taking fire from those artillery pieces. Those 3 chickens though, lead one on about 50% health, pretty badly damaged. Other 2 very healthy. New SMD right on the beach, not necessarily the best place for it. I guess he's trying to extend its coverage to try and protect the fleet so he can get a surprise nuke on the vessels. Needs to get those chickens emerging at the same time, but what went on there was a strap-on push. Takes out Gugay just as the chickens were making landfall. And those chickens are going to die. There they go. Yes, the ion storms will cause absolute havoc in Mozambique's base, but the damage is done. And now Arbok remains. He's back here. Support commanders should just get in here and start laying down some point defense, although they are in Ravager range. Maybe they can back up and lay some down over here. They're just going to open up on the comm instead. Another Strat inbound, gets 1 bomb off. Here they come again. These are the Strats that just took his teammate out. The shield gen's down. Ravagers are about to take their first support commander scalp. Arbok dips back inside shield coverage. Don't think he's going to get the kill here. Another support commander to the southwest. Ravagers turn to engage him. God damn, those things are tanky. So much damage.
Strategic launch detected.
Where's that nuke going? Down it goes. Arbok's base is badly damaged though. Might as well move in. Okay, fine, you win. Is that the GG? It looks like it. He's raised. Yeah, Nuke got shot down. He's raised the Atlantises, and there goes the Control K. Game over. Team 3 win. But would it have... well, it wouldn't have been that way. If he'd have just put the nukes where he should have done, Mozambique would have been crippled and wouldn't have been able to stay in that fight. Gugay would have rolled over, and I'm sure would have taken that. Those nukes cost them everything. Just shows how important certain placements could be. 1 hour, 10 minutes. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Hope you agree as well. Not quite... it was a longer game, but not quite epicosity. Just didn't quite feel epic. Maybe it was because it was a Joe's game, and that was one of the reasons it took the length of time that it did. We didn't have the full array of weapons. There was no T3 artillery in there or any real game enders. But very entertaining, I hope you think, nonetheless. There's always more to come from me in the future. Don't forget, guys, if you feel so inclined, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Details below this in each and every one of my videos. All help very gratefully received, as I say every time. Thank you to everybody who's donated so far and all those who will do in the future. Your support means the world to me. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.